Let's talk about zinc. So a lot of people have been asking, when's the best time to take it? Is it truly necessary? Are there some things that I can do to avoid interactions with zinc? And how can I increase its bioavailability, since it's not really about how much you take, but how much your body can absorb? And so I'm just going to try to cover a lot of this information. If this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, but we're going to talk about more information in it. So it's pretty much going to cover all your bases. So basically, the best time to take zinc is now, is pretty much all the time. And the reason for that is because it's just a mineral, it's elemental, it's going to be utilized by your body, and then whatever it can't process for whatever that dose is that you're taking, it's going to excrete. And so to maintain blood serum levels to where your body can actually have it as an available supply, I always suggest taking it 3 times a day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or upon rising, and then halfway through your day, whatever your day looks like, and then right before bed would be absolutely perfect. As far as interactions and things like that, there actually is a lot of research on that. And if you're taking any corn-based products, whether that would be like tortilla chips or corn shells or anything like that, it's actually going to interrupt your ability to absorb the zinc to a pretty substantial degree, actually. And this has been corroborated through like several scientific investigations. And so it's really interesting that is going to block your lower intestine's ability to absorb the mineral and then disperse it throughout your blood supply. So that's something to keep in mind there. Now, as far as how much zinc you should take on a daily basis, first of all, let me just get the necessity out of the way. Zinc is absolutely necessary. And the reason why it's so necessary and vital is for this one fact: your body cannot produce it on its own. So your body has this amazing, miraculous ability to take all of the components and building blocks from all the different constituents and nutrients that you eat on a daily basis, and take it and break it up into the pieces and parts that it needs at any given point in time. A great example of this that we're all familiar with is going to be protein. So protein is really just a general term that means a sequence of amino acids. Now, each amino acid has a very, very different behavioral profile biologically. What I mean by that is that, tryptophan is going to be different than leucine, is going to be different than valine. And there's so many different amino acids, and some even fall into different categories such as essential and non-essential. Now, in order to parallel this with zinc, essential amino acids are something that you have to get through your diet. Something that you're either supplementing with, or that you're getting through certain cuts of beef and protein sources like eggs and steak and so forth. The same is true with zinc. So this is a great parallel here. The symmetry between the two is that you need them from an outside source. And here's the rub. If you're not getting zinc from an outside source, much like your essential amino acids and other nutrients, your body is going to suffer. Now, that suffer phase that your body's in is going to be in all certain different types of severities, and it's going to affect each individual different depending on what your deficiency is. What will happen is the longer that you go without taking or supplementing zinc, especially in adequate amounts, which we're going to talk about in a second, you will notice that your chronic illness, or what I like to refer to as dis-ease, because it's the body outside of ease or being healthy, which is what your body wants to be. That's how our body is programmed. So the longer that you go without zinc, you're going to notice things like easier hair breakage, very, very low immunity. And, sickness is a bit of a misnomer in and of itself. Sickness isn't really acquired through germs. Germ theory is called theory just because it's never been proven. So we've actually never even observed anything as far as a germ or a quote-unquote virus in reality. We've never observed that infect or replicate itself into a living cell culture. But people still get sick, right? And so the reason why zinc is so important for immunity overall is it's just going to make you more robust. And let me qualify that just a little bit to explain what I mean. So your body has a lot of different mechanisms, including things like T cells, white cells, that, let me check this red light out here, that you want to keep an ample, readily available supply so that your body can call upon them in a moment's notice. And the reason why that's so important is because all of these defense mechanisms, or what I refer to as your immune mechanicity in your body, cannot function optimally or at all if you are absent from zinc. So zinc is absolutely crucial. If you've ever noticed that when you're on an airplane or in a crowd of people, or even if you're around a family member who's just getting over some sort of a sickness, and then you start to exhibit those same symptoms, it's just because your immunity is compromised. Now, we've heard that term a lot, compromised immunity, but what does that mean? All compromised immunity means is that you're just not taking care of yourself. And it's very, very elementary. So like, if you just take care of the fundamentals that your body is craving, and that's why I think of zinc and other elements like magnesium and vitamin C and potent antioxidants, I think of those as cellular nourishment, because what you're doing is you're giving all of the raw building blocks to your body to where it can structure, organize, and deploy it so that it's going to be absolutely phenomenal long term. And that's why zinc, just as one of the nutrients, has been proven, and I mean actually verified and certified through different independent third-party tests, university research studies and articles. And you can look all this stuff up on PubMed and the National Institute of Health and all of that. But it's actually reduced the length of the common cold by 30 to 40%. Just zinc. And I'm not talking about giving your body the rest of the essential nutrients that it needs, but that's just zinc alone. And so that is, by orders of magnitude, far more important than taking many other things, such as even a multivitamin, in my opinion. And the reason for that is twofold. Multivitamins usually don't provide adequate amounts of what you need anyways. And secondly, they're not absorbable because they don't come from a whole food derivative, or they're not from a whole food supply. And so they're mostly synthetic, which just means that they're synthesized in a laboratory, and it's not the natural form of those nutrients or vitamins that our body needs and recognizes as available. So I would say if you're experiencing lower immunity, easy hair breakage, even sensory deprivation as far as taste and smell, which zinc is in complete control of. A lot of people don't know that. But if you've lost some of your taste of smell, or your ability to smell things or to taste food properly, zinc is by far more often than anything else the culprit of that. Now here's the good news. With something like zinc, it's extremely easy to find, it's very, very low cost, and it's super easy to just implement today into whatever your wellness regimen is, whatever that looks like for you. But if zinc is not part of that, I always like to say, don't save Z for last, because zinc is so important. And over the years, it's really ebbed and flowed as far as getting the credit that it deserves. But there's just an unbelievable compendium of research out there that if you just type it in as a keyword to any of these websites I've mentioned before, you can pull up free research articles, and there are thousands. So some of the recent research I've done has been specifically on zinc, magnesium, and vitamin C. And what I found is that those three are extremely crucial for your health and well-being overall. And I'm talking for energy levels, hair health. I mean, I could go down this amazing long list, but just trust me. But what happens is, even though these three are very, very powerful independently, whenever you combine them, or something scientifically that's called taking them concomitantly, whenever you take zinc, magnesium, and vitamin C in tandem, you're going to notice that there's going to be like a quantum leap in their effectiveness. And, science doesn't really understand why that is, but what we know is that all of your signs of health and vitality, your energy levels, avoiding things like that afternoon brain fog that kind of creeps in as your body starts to digest lunch, all of those things will not only disappear, but it's very, very progressive. And so let's say you start taking zinc today. let's talk about what form you need and would do your body good. And let's also talk about what you're going to notice or feel from it, because I always talk about zinc and magnesium and vitamin C and other critical nutrients as things you can feel. We do a lot on a daily basis based on things that we think we should do or that are probably a great idea, but we don't actually get that reward mechanism in place. So we're not getting that gratification of knowing like, yeah, I feel great. I'm not getting sick. I have crazy energy levels. I have no jitters. And with zinc and magnesium and minerals, things like that, it even lowers things like anxiety. And all of this has been fleshed out many, many times in very professional third-party double-blind research. But as far as the type you should take, definitely by far, there's going to be zinc glycinate. And the reason why that's so important is because, just as it sounds like, that it gets its name from the fact that there's a zinc molecule that has been molecularly bonded with glycine. Now, glycine is something that I've done so much research and a lot of talks on, and glycine is very, very important because many experts agree that it is pretty much the cornerstone of anti-aging. Now, I don't have time to get into all of that. I want to keep this really talking about zinc, but when zinc is actually adhered to the glycine molecule, two things happen. Is you're going to get a lot of the benefits from the glycine molecule, and at the same time, it's going to be far more bioavailable. And bioavailable is important, A, because that means you're going to have much less gastric distress. So you're not going to get any bloating or stomach cramps or discomfort as your body is trying to metabolize or break the zinc down and absorb it. And then B, the reason why glycinate is so important is because it's going to be a nice, steady release. And let me explain that, because this is really, really important. I don't hear many people talk about this, but whenever you have something bonded to something else, you can think of glycine as the carrier. And so the reason why that's really important is because your body is going to have to cleave off the glycine from the zinc molecule in order to implement or to absorb both. So while your body is assimilating the zinc and the glycine, it's going to be a steady release, molecule by molecule. That's amazing, because the way that the body works is it goes through, obviously, peristalsis. You're going to chew it up a little bit. That's called maceration. It's going to go down into your stomach. Your stomach acids are going to begin breaking apart the bonds of the molecules. But by the time it hits the lower intestines, that's really where all the magic happens. And that's why, and again, I can't get into this. This is awesome information, but that's why I think the gluten-free lifestyle is so important. Not because of intolerances or allergies, but because it keeps your villi in your lower intestine healthy and nourished, and they're able to absorb all of the nutrients as they're intended to do. So if you keep everything in balance like that, with zinc always at the forefront of your mind, especially if you're taking it in unison with magnesium and vitamin C and a really, really great carrier oil that functions as brain and body food, like Think Zinc Plus is one that comes to mind. If you don't want to go the liquid route, you can go with capsules, and you can find those very, very easily. There's a lot that I've ordered on Amazon. But I'm going to leave a link below for Think Zinc Plus, because this is something I've been using for a very long time. It's delicious. It's extremely bioavailable because it's already in the liquid form. It's chelated, which means basically it's vegetarian and it's ready for your body to use. So you can eliminate that conversion process and necessity and just start getting the benefits immediately. So I hope that was helpful. We can talk about all of this in more detail if you leave a comment below. And I want to let you guys know that I'm totally open for any of this stuff. I'm in the car a lot. I'm driving a lot. So let me know what it is you want to hear about, and we'll get into it. So I'll see you next time, and thanks a lot for watching.